Welcome to the Lift Your Story podcast with guest Paul Gores.
Hi, everyone. I am Lorianne. I am that gal from Milton, Ontario, Canada, and I am with.
I am that guy. I am Roy Miller from Dallas, Texas, and we would like to welcome you to our Lift Your Story podcast.
So on this episode, we like to say number 99, we have Paul with us, and he's the founder of made-to-learn-audio.com. Thank you so much for being with us today, Paul.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Fantastic. Well, one of the things I'm interested in, Paul, is your creating these personalized audiobooks for families. Can you explain that to us and share that? Because that sounds awesome to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I usually have to explain it because most folks haven't heard of it. So a little of my backstory. I was a professional audiobook narrator for a few years. I got into that a few years ago. I narrated 52 audiobooks that are available on Audible and iTunes and all that jazz. Long story short, a few years ago, my girlfriend had a birthday coming up, and I was at a loss of what to get her. I like to get, meaningful, kind of thoughtful gifts. And I had kind of forgotten her birthday was coming up, if we're being completely honest.
Shame on you.
Hasn't happened since. But I just kind of had an idea, I said, I've got all this audio production, all these audio production skills I've built up over the last few years. And I had the idea to script out basically her entire kind of life story, like when she was born, her family, some funny stories I knew from when she was little. And then when she went to college and she did her semester abroad in London. And then, the most glorious day of her life is when she met me, of course. I threw that in there as well.
My wife knows the feeling, yes.
Yeah, see, we're in the same boat, Roy. Anyway, I scripted together this whole thing, this whole kind of production, and I recorded it in my home studio. I called it at the time a personalized podcast because it was like I kind of did it in like a fake podcast format, like as if you were listening to one. And then I gave it to her for her birthday. She listened to it and she loved it. I mean, she was going on and telling her family and her friends and everything. And it was such a great reaction when her family and her friends and my friends and everybody heard it. I said, I might be onto something here. And I kind of just ran with it and eventually became made-to-order-audio.com. And that's what we do now. We learn people's stories and we create one-of-a-kind personalized audiobooks all about them, usually for birthdays, anniversaries, big events, weddings for the most part. I switched the name of it to an audiobook from a podcast because that was even harder to explain to people that I'm making an audiobook. You think like the chapters of your life. That's what I do today. It's pretty fun.
So how does it work? Do people send you like written stories and you turn them into audio, or do you take their audio and put it all together? How does that actually work?
So for a long time, I was doing it that way. When you bought one, you would get a link to like a questionnaire that you would fill out. What I found out was that it was a long questionnaire because I was asking all kinds of stories. It probably took about 25 minutes to fill out. And I think people got a little overwhelmed with it sometimes. And so what I actually wound up doing is now when you commission one of the audiobooks, you can, once you check out, it sends you right to a link. You can book a 30-minute Zoom call with me. And you can find out so much more about a person and their story in 5 minutes of talking, as opposed to, 100 emails. Is basically trial and error what I learned. So that's how we do it now. I'll set up a call just kind of like we are right now, and multiple family members can jump on, or just one person. I'll see if they have any ideas that they want to incorporate. I kind of have a basic structure that I usually keep the audiobooks to, but I'm always open to what people are thinking also. And I also will sometimes extract, if they want to leave a personal memo or a message to them, I'll say, go ahead and tell me now, and I'll take that audio out of our Zoom call. I record the Zoom calls, and I'll insert that in to like the end of the audiobook as well. And that's basically the short version of how it works from my end. But yeah, I try to make it as simple as possible. Just talk to people and, you know, get their story out of them. It's fun.
So from the time they give you the story to the time they get the book, what's the average time for that usually?
So I have it at a maximum of 7 days.
Oh, wow.
From when we talk to when it's done.
Wow.
Now, I guess I should mention, when you think of an audiobook, I recently listened to Hamilton by Ron Chernow. It's the biography of Alexander Hamilton, and it was 36 hours long. So my audiobooks are not like that. They're about a 15-minute production for the most part. It's like a good, like, concise story. It's long enough, it's short enough that you can play it if you're at a birthday party or an anniversary party, you know, for a group of people, and, you know, kids can sit through it and everything, and it's not too long.
You're talking about adult kids?
Yeah, or, you know, little crazy ones running around too. And adult kids, yeah. Yeah, and then I guess I forgot to mention, so the way when it's done, people, I get this question a lot too, so I was just gonna go ahead and answer it preemptively, I guess. When we're done with it, I will post it on a site on my website and then send a link in email form to the people. So they'll say, hey, your audiobook is done. You click to the link and then you go right to the website. There's a big play button right there. And then you can also download it from there too, if you want to download it to your phone or your computer or anything like that. So in that way, I think it's a really cool COVID era gift, I guess. You can send it anywhere as long as you have internet, you know, across the world. And yeah.
Well, plus it's a
That's
great,
neat.
it's a great memory for people to keep.
Exactly. That's kind of the whole. I've gotten several reviews, just feedback from people afterwards. Oh, you made my dad cry with his birthday present, or I did one for my wife and I's wedding last summer, and her sisters were both tearing up. So I always joke that I want to add into my marketing, guaranteed to make your family cry, but I don't think that's a good route to go down.
Oh, cool.
Oh, well, in some cases, you probably have the guaranteed laughter too.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any specific story of one that stands out that you can share on here?
Yeah, so a lot of them are you know, pretty personal, like personal information, you know, family names, employers, stuff like that. So for that reason, I don't have any full ones posted on the site or anything. But honestly, one of the first ones I did was for a young man whose mom was retiring, and she was a great lady by all accounts. You know, she's a community leader. She was involved in her church and her community. Everybody at her workplace loved her. So it's kind of a combination birthday party and retirement party that they had at like an event center. This was pre-COVID, by the way, when they could, you know, all get together and have a good time. And that one, I don't know what it was. It was the first or second one that I've done beside that wasn't for friends or family. And I got so much feedback. Everybody was saying, I love it. This was so cool. The DJ was asking the guy how we got it commissioned and everything. And it was really exciting. And at that point I was like, you know, this is, you know, I want to make a living doing this, but it's really rewarding in that way too. When you really tell somebody or capture it just the right way. That one always sticks out in my mind. And the one I did, the original one for my girlfriend, now wife, that was another good one. The original one, the one that was a podcast, not an audiobook.
Yeah. Well, so it sounds like that you found your passion and your purpose.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you know, it's been really exciting so far. I'm not gonna say that I am like, it's a full-on career at this point. It's kind of, we were talking before we were recording, it's, you know, you have good months and bad months. It's kind of all over the place. But it's definitely gaining I'm gaining momentum with it, and just like the word of mouth as I do more and more of them has been great, because then people are like, oh, that's so cool, or you hear it at your cousin's birthday or your mom's birthday party or whatever, and that's been working really great for me. But yeah, it is a purpose. It's exciting. I get excited every day if I see a new one pops up in my shop to start working on.
How would you, so I would imagine that there's certain times too of the year that would be beneficial, such as like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas gifts. Like you said, it's a great gift that, particularly, I love this because of course my parents are in their 80s and they're giving stuff away. So like, what do you get them type of thing? This would be perfect. How would you capture your audience in those times in particular?
Well, that's the $100,000 question right there. I'm working on new strategies all the time, but you're right. Exactly. There are times of the year I'm kind of ramping up for a Mother's Day kind of campaign, I guess you could call it right now, because that's, a little under 2 months out now, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then also wedding season. I'm thinking it's going to be busier than last year for wedding season.
Oh yeah.
My own wedding was supposed to be on June 20th last year. We wound up just doing it with our immediate families, and we basically postponed it for a year. So we're just gonna have a big party this year at our venue. But I do offer, when you're asking about getting the word out around these different times of year, I do offer, if anyone in the audience is interested, if you head to my website, madetoorderaudio.com, I do one audiobook giveaway on the 1st of every month. And all you have to do is sign up for my email list. It's right at the top of the screen. Win a free audiobook. And I give away one a month, and, try to generate some excitement with that when people see it and sign up. And then I, can remind them when big holidays are coming up. Since it is like a pretty personalized and kind of labor intensive thing, I like getting the word out like, hey, Mother's Day is 2 months out, because you can't just buy one the day before Mother's Day. It's just not reasonable to be able to get it done in that short of amount of time.
It's not like picking up chocolates or flowers. Definitely not.
Right. Yep.
But it lasts forever. That's what I love about it. You can have that and pass it on as a legacy even.
Yeah.
Right, Roy? You like legacies.
Yeah. But I was just sitting here thinking, Mother's Day, because that's coming up, but then like my 50th anniversary is in June. So I was just now thinking, that might be something to do for our anniversary, our 50th anniversary.
Yeah, anniversaries have been a big one. I like to advertise about, especially big anniversaries. Like, did you say 50th, Roy?
Yes.
That's a milestone right there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. But anniversaries are great because it's, a lot of times it's a get together of like, close family and friends that you're really close with. And, when it's a group like that know the person or the couple really well, they can really, you really laugh at all the stories that you've heard 100 times.
Yeah.
Or or find out something you didn't know. And yeah, the cool thing about anniversaries and birthdays, which are both kind of big ones for me, is they happen all year round. So I haven't really found a way of getting the word out about them specifically. There seem to be more anniversaries in the summertime, I suppose, but yeah.
Yeah, my wife was a June bride.
My wife too, I guess. Yeah. Coming up on our first anniversary, so 49 to go.
One of many.
I hope so. It will be. Of course it will be.
Yeah. I think
I have to laugh.
this is really a great thing, I think. I mean, I can just sit there just thinking of all the different things that you could do with this, because it's different, it's unusual. And like you say, it's not the same birthday card, it's not the same whatever. It's, it's like a legacy item.
Yeah. And it does last forever. I've actually toyed with the idea. I shouldn't say it on a podcast because I haven't actually done it, but I've toyed with the idea of offering having it transferred to a vinyl as well, to like a record, because I know people are really getting back into record players and records too. And then, that'd be even kind of cooler to receive on like a disc and listen to like that.
Yeah, with a nice cover on it.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
See, when I start saying these things publicly, that puts pressure on me. People are going to be like, "Hey, I heard you talk about this," and then I have to do it. But
Hey, that was just talk. Shut up.
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. That was an imposter.
Well, they do say it when you say it. Now you're committed. Now you're
Exactly. That's
people to hold you accountable for that. We're here.
Hey,
That's the good thing.
We were just brainstorming.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to have Paul back on in about 3 to 6 months ago. So how are those vinyls going, Paul?
Right. I know. Great. What have I done? Added more work to my plate.
Oh, but I'm seriously considering this for my anniversary. I think I'm gonna reach out.
And like I said, yeah, people are trying to, more and more people are trying to declutter, even the ones, you look at it, sorry, but there are a lot of boomers out there and, downsizing and so on. So the last thing they feel like is something else to put in their house, unless they really need it.
Yeah.
I don't think that women really enjoy, or men, this stuff. Well, men probably more tools they're okay with no matter what, but women and appliances are not as excited.
Can't have too many tools.
No, I love
True.
tools. It's true. My toolbox is better equipped than my kitchen right now. So.
And that's definitely a growing trend. The whole kind of, if not minimalism, along those lines, people are just too much clutter, just too much stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
We just moved into a big new house, and it's like the bigger house you get, you just fill it up with stuff. And I was like, I didn't need that stuff before, but now I have it. So exactly.
I think it's whatever the storage space you have that much stuff. If you have 4,000 square feet, you got 4,000 square feet worth. If you got 10,000, you got 10,000 square feet worth.
Exactly.
Whatever you have.
It just fills up. I know, it's funny how that happens.
You just look and you say, oh my goodness, there's that little white space there, that something needs to go there. I remember when I was married, that was the case. If I cleared things out, my ex-husband would sit there and he'd look and he'd see that space, he'd get excited and go buy something and fill it in. I'm going, no.
We're going to Target.
I went 2,400 down to, well, the smallest I lived in was 395 square feet, which was just 3 years ago I was living in that. And it was great, it was free. But I'm on my own, but my daughter even came to live with me for a couple of months. We were actually okay. We worked around it. But everything's used. That's the other thing too in large spaces.
Mm-hmm.
We don't use half the rooms in the house, but that's my opinion, and we're diverging from this. So. But no, seriously, it is. It's something that won't clutter the house and brings memories back. I'm just thinking about all the things though. How long, what would be the longest that you would do for one of these? I know you said about 15 minutes, but let's say I have my little sister and I've got so many stories about her and I want to bring them up, and that would probably run, I could probably cut it down to half hour easily, but 15 minutes is too short.
I try to, if there is a lot that people really want to get in there, I kind of try and distill it down to like the really kind of the core of it. It's usually around 15. I've gone up to about 20, but I really like keeping it in that kind of length area. It's just, if it goes longer than that, it's kind of like you're just sitting there and like, okay. But I mean, every situation is different also.
Yeah.
So that's not to say that, if there's a lot to say that we could fit that in there as well. But generally I like to keep them around that same length. The longest I've done is about 20 minutes, I think. It's shocking how much info and how many stories you can fit into that amount of time when it's just a narrator, just, kind of going through all the stories and everything. I'm always surprised it usually comes in around then.
Yeah, because, like you say, if you're at a birthday party, anniversary party, and you're going to play that, you don't want 3 hours worth of that stuff. Like you say, 10 or 15, 20 minutes, people will, okay, that was great,
Mm-hmm.
But anything
Boy, I was thinking more on a personal basis, and when it's a personal basis, quite a few people like to listen about themselves.
Well, they do, but the other people may not want to.
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be for the other people. It would be like handing somebody a personal thing that they listen to, right? So there would be
Yeah,
a different thing, right?
I haven't anybody come to me with that, but I'm open to whatever people have in mind. Yeah, some people might want a longer, more in-depth kind of production like that, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's the beauty of it. It's personalized, so I can we can talk about whatever on the Zoom call or ahead of time, and yeah.
7 years ago.
Because there's some things maybe that I want to send off to my sister, and she wouldn't want anyone else to hear.
True. That's another thing.
This is for your ears only, honey. But
We need a family-friendly version. Then we need the real version. Oh.
so where do you see this going? Do you have, like, as far as, I guess, do you have any idea of expansion on that? I know that this is a specific product that you're offering, but other than the vinyls, you foresee this becoming, I would imagine you want this to become a full-time business for you.
Yeah, that's the track I'm on, that I'm pursuing. I have more ideas than I could probably mention on the podcast, but my lovely wife, she got me a book right here in my desk drawer. And whenever I have a crazy new huge idea, I write it down instead of just going down the rabbit hole. So I've got plenty. I've thought of I've talked to a few poets, people that do personalized poems, to see if there's a market there for, like, because I would, that would also be a cheaper price point, and you can get I would work with them to create a personalized poem, and they could also get a hard copy of that. I've talked to a few people about that, just the last few weeks, actually. We haven't moved forward with it yet. What other ideas? I'm not going to dive into the book right now, but
but that's a great thing to do. When you think of them, write them down so you don't forget them. I mean,
exactly.
That's perfect.
Yep. And I don't wind up chasing my tail and trying to run down anything else. I've had ideas in the B2B space as well. I know that there's a big trend these days with newsletters, like industry specific newsletters and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering if there's something there where people might want an audio version of that for their commute or something. And, a newsletter or a business could commission that. I've also thought in the B2B space of businesses who may just want to share intra company news and stories, new hires. This is what's going on in the industry, stuff like that. You can listen to it on your commute into work, and offering that as like a monthly kind of even retainer or something.
Yeah, like a subscription service. Yeah.
I so like that idea, because I can tell you, I get some people send out newsletters almost every day, and I appreciate their time and everything, but I don't have the time to read through it. Now, if it was a button and I could because you can listen and do things at the same time. I mean, some people go, no, you can't. Yes, there are some of us that can. And rather than taking the time to read this, I go, I want to hear about it. But I'm skimming, and I'll probably miss something if I'm skimming through it. So it makes more sense to listen to it, and it'd probably go faster too, because I'm a really slow reader, because I like to read word for word. That's why I'm a good editor.
Well, I mean, I think like the intra company, hey, Mary Smith just started with us. She's the director of this, and there's a story about her, or the guy that's retiring, hey, Bob is going to retire, and that little story about him. I mean, I think that's a fantastic idea. Yeah, really good idea.
So, once again, I'm throwing all my ideas out in the public space. So getting more accountability out there. People are going to be contacting me. And to what you were saying, Lorianne, about just being able to do things when you're listening, I completely agree. We're renovating our upstairs of our house right now to turn it into a rental unit. And I'm up there, putting up crown molding. I've got an audiobook or a podcast going the whole time. And I know somebody right now, I'm looking at you, is doing their dishes right now while listening to this. I guarantee it's because that's what I do. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Multitasking at its best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, that's some ideas I've had. I haven't really done too much work or research into it yet, into expanding the business. But as of right now, I'm pretty happy with the product I have right now. And I just, trying to spread the word about it and let people know. And yep. And like I said, I always have new ideas. I just write them in my book, and then we'll see where they go from there.
Oh, no, and you're doing the smart thing. You want to really get known with that one thing, but it's always fun to know, what are the other ideas that are coming. Not all of them, but a few, just to see where it's going. But I just, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I now know what to get.
It's really going to be a kind of a neat little niche, I think.
Absolutely.
Thank you. There's a few other companies kind of similar. I found out about both of them after kind of coming up with my idea. There's one called songfinch.com. They do personalized songs. It's like a 2.5 or 3 minute song. It's the same kind of model as mine. And there's another one called, I think it's Artifact or heyartifact.com. And they do personal podcasts where they'll actually call several of your family members or friends and just do like more of an interview style and then put it together like that, but similar also. So it's definitely like an emerging new thing. I've started within the last 2 years. I think both of them, I think Songfinch has been around for 5 or 6 years, but yeah, it's a new and emerging space and it's exciting. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. And I get to meet all kinds of people in different situations in life and everything. It's been rewarding.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're in the forefront. That's a good thing. I mean, having a couple of competitors is a lot easier to grow at this point than if you had like 100,000 of them. So good timing.
Yeah, I think a rising tide raises all boats. That's the way I look at it. Yeah.
Well, so Paul, how can our listeners reach out to you? What's the best way to get in contact with you?
The best way is just to go to madetoorderaudio.com. From there, you can email me on the contact screen, or you can just email me directly, paul@madetoorderaudio.com. And that's definitely the best way to get in touch with me.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah. I
We
think
appreciate that. We appreciate your time.
great product and quick turnaround. You can't hardly beat that combination.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on and talking to me.
Oh, it was a pleasure. It was all ours, believe me.
All right. Maybe I'll be back for number 199.
All right.
There
Well,
you go.
we would like to maybe in like 6 months or so have you back and kind of catch up on what's happened.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm willing to do that for sure.
All right.
Excellent. Like I said, we'll be seeing the vinyls then.
I know. I said it, and now it has to be a thing. I know.
All right. Take care, Paul. Thanks again.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
a lot,
you.
Paul. It's a pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Be sure to visit us at lifterstory.com.